Reverse psychology, Marcus Aurelius, Stoicism. What if rejection isn't something to fear, but something to thank? What if every no you've ever heard was life redirecting you to something more aligned, more honest, more powerful? Most people avoid rejection at all costs, but the Stoics embraced it, not because they enjoyed pain, but because they understood something most people miss. Rejection isn't the end of the path. Sometimes, it is the path. Welcome to the Eternal Perspective, the channel where ancient wisdom meets modern challenges. If you're looking for clarity, calm, and the tools to navigate life with strength and intention, you're in the right place. Today, we'll explore how Marcus Aurelius and the timeless philosophy of Stoicism can help you reframe rejection, not as a threat, but as a powerful ally. Rejection. It's a universal experience. We've all felt it. The job that didn't work out, the person who walked away, the silence after taking a risk. Often, it arrives wrapped in disappointment, frustration, or even shame. But what if we could transform that pain into something useful? What if rejection wasn't a dead end, but a detour, a signpost pointing us in a better direction? The Stoics believed this was possible. To them, rejection was not a personal failure. It was simply an external event, something outside our control, like the weather or another person's opinion. And if something lies outside our control, it should not disturb our inner peace. This simple yet radical shift in perspective can free us from the emotional chaos that rejection usually brings. Instead of internalizing rejection, the Stoic path invites us to examine it with clarity. What can this moment teach me? What strength can I build here? What did I expect, and why? The goal is not to avoid rejection, but to face it with resilience, composure, and a renewed sense of purpose. Rejection is not the problem. Our reaction to it is. Stoicism begins with a profound insight. We cannot control what happens to us, only how we respond. Rejection, whether it's being ignored, criticized, or overlooked, belongs to the realm of externals. And the more we attach our self-worth to those externals, the more we suffer. But here's where Stoicism flips the script. While we can't control the actions of others, we hold absolute power over our inner world. No one can access that inner citadel unless we let them. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This doesn't mean we become numb or pretend not to care. It means we become selective in where we place our energy. The Stoic feels the sting of rejection, but doesn't dwell in it. He pauses, he reflects, and then he moves forward with clarity. Because the goal isn't to avoid rejection. That's impossible. The goal is to remain undisturbed by it, to meet it with a steady gaze and an anchored heart. Rejection is not an anomaly, it's the rule. Anyone who dares to dream, to create, to speak honestly, will face rejection. The entrepreneur with a bold idea, the artist with a vulnerable message, the individual who steps outside the norm. All of them open themselves to the possibility of being dismissed or misunderstood. That is the cost of participation, the price of living a life that matters. The Stoics didn't run from this truth. They embraced it. They knew that hoping for a life without rejection was to live in fantasy. Fighting this reality only deepens the pain. Accepting it, on the other hand, opens the door to peace. When we stop taking rejection personally, it loses its sharpness. It becomes feedback. It becomes training. It becomes an opportunity to refine our intentions and return to what truly matters. As Epictetus taught, it's not events that disturb us, but our judgments about them. Change the judgment, and you change the impact. One of the greatest dangers we face is seeking constant validation from others. When our self-worth depends on praise, likes, or applause, we become prisoners to opinion. We shift and bend ourselves in hopes of being accepted, and in doing so, we lose touch with who we really are. The Stoic way is different. It urges us to cultivate an inner compass, to act not from the desire to please, but from the desire to live with integrity. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, ambition means tying your well-being to what others say. Sanity means tying it to your own actions. When you are grounded in your own values, rejection becomes just another moment in the unfolding of life. It doesn't shake you. It doesn't define you. You carry on with purpose because your sense of self was never dependent on the approval of others in the first place. In the end, all Stoic teaching points to one place: the quiet, unshakable strength that lives within you. Rejection may come. Disappointment will visit. The world will misunderstand, criticize, or ignore you. But none of it can touch the core of who you are, unless you let it. That core, your inner citadel, is built not on applause but on clarity, discipline, and self-respect. Focus on what you can control. Reframe rejection as feedback, not failure. And above all, cultivate inner strength, not to impress the world, but to become immune to it. This is the essence of Stoic fortitude, the ability to meet adversity without losing yourself, the strength to walk alone if you must, and the peace that comes from knowing you never needed external approval to begin with. If this message spoke to something in you, consider subscribing to The Eternal Perspective. Here, we explore timeless wisdom for a chaotic world, one principle at a time. And if you've ever turned rejection into a source of strength, I invite you to share your story in the comments. You never know who might need your perspective today. Stay calm, stay clear, and remember, the Stoic path doesn't avoid rejection, it transforms it. One of the foundational tenets of Stoicism is understanding the difference between what we can and cannot control. This distinction is crucial when dealing with rejection. We have absolute control over our actions, thoughts, and reactions. These are internal and within our power. However, we have little to no control over the actions and opinions of others. These are external and beyond our influence. By focusing our energy on what we can control, our response to rejection, we channel our efforts effectively and minimize unnecessary suffering. Rejection often leads us to dwell on the past or fear the future. We replay the events in our minds, wondering what we could have done differently, or we worry about future rejections, creating anxiety and uncertainty. Stoicism encourages us to focus on the present moment. The past is gone, and the future is not yet here. All we have is now. By focusing on the task at hand, we can learn and grow from the experience of rejection. This allows us to reduce anxiety and move forward with clarity. Embrace the present. It is the only place where growth and learning can truly occur. Stoics believe that true happiness comes from living a virtuous life. This means acting with wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. Rejection cannot diminish our inherent worth or our capacity for virtue. Our value is not determined by the opinions of others. The key is to remain true to our values and principles, regardless of external circumstances. Let virtue be your guide, and rejection will lose its sting. Focus on being a good person, and external judgments will matter less. Rejection, while painful, can provide valuable feedback. It offers an opportunity to examine our actions and identify areas for improvement. Approach rejection with objectivity. Analyze what happened, what you could have done differently, and what you can learn from the experience. By refining our approach and developing greater resilience, we turn rejection into a stepping stone towards success. Don't let rejection define you, let it refine you. A core concept in Stoicism is the understanding that nothing lasts forever. This applies to both success and failure. Rejection is a temporary setback, not a permanent defeat. It is a part of the natural ebb and flow of life. By accepting impermanence, we prevent ourselves from viewing rejection as a catastrophic event. We recognize that it is simply a passing phase. Remember, this too shall pass. When faced with rejection, it's easy to focus on what we lack. We dwell on the opportunities we missed and the things we didn't achieve. Stoicism encourages us to shift our focus to what we do have. Practice gratitude for the blessings in our lives, both big and small. By maintaining a positive outlook and appreciating existing opportunities, we can navigate rejection with greater ease and resilience. Gratitude is a powerful antidote to negativity. The ultimate goal of Stoicism is to transform rejection into an opportunity for self-discovery and growth. By adopting a Stoic mindset, we can become stronger, wiser, and more resilient in the face of adversity. Use the sting of rejection as fuel for your personal growth. Let it motivate you to become the best version of yourself. Live a more fulfilling life by embracing the lessons that rejection offers. Rejection will never be easy, but with the right mindset, it doesn't have to break you. Through the lens of Stoicism, what once felt devastating becomes something different, a chance to grow, to reflect, and to realign with what truly matters. This philosophy doesn't offer escape, it offers strength. It gives you a framework to meet rejection, not with bitterness, but with composure, not with fear, but with clarity. And in doing so, you become more grounded, more focused, and far more resilient. So the next time life says no, remember, it might just be showing you a deeper yes. A yes to your own strength, a yes to your path, a yes to the person you're becoming. If this perspective resonated with you, subscribe to The Eternal Perspective for more timeless insights on how to stay clear and steady in a chaotic world. And if you've turned rejection into growth, share your experience in the comments. Your story might be the clarity someone else is searching for. Stay strong, stay centered, and keep walking your path, no matter who walks away.